a plea for help.
And if people haven't talked to us yet, they may have video.
Police reach out after a 16-year-old boy is killed. Plus, Calgary's mayor on retail troubles in Martaloop.
So I want to have a good conversation with businesses that are expressing difficulty or making decisions to leave.
After one business says construction forced them to close. And hopes for a liver transplant.
Well, for Colby, he has end-stage liver disease, so his liver is not working properly.
How a living donor could make a difference.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news. With Tara Nelson. Reporting tonight, Ian White.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We are now hearing from the family of a teenage boy found dead in Abbeydale on Friday in what police have deemed a homicide. Stephanie Thomas joins us now from Abergale Drive Northeast. And Stephanie, how are loved ones describing Carter Spivak Villeneuve?
Ian, you can see a growing memorial behind me where many people are laying down cards and gifts and flowers, all to remember the 16-year-old. But his mother was even here about an hour ago, but she was just too distraught to speak to me. However, earlier in the day, the family did send a statement to the Calgary police. And in that email send out, it described Carter as a caring, giving, and loyal son. He had a smile that would light up any dark room. He had ambitions that will never come to fruition because his life was cut so short. Now, his body was found by police early Friday morning in the 300 block of Abergale Drive Northeast. Police are still investigating his death as a homicide, but details about the events beforehand or motive aren't being shared. Investigators say that they need more information.
We recognize people may have been away, being a long weekend, and if people haven't talked to us yet, they may have video, just if they can reach out or if they saw anything that night. Also, we recognize that people may have talked since then or heard something since then, and again, we want to hear from that.
Investigators say they also want any information that may have been circulating on social media apps like Snapchat or TikTok or anything that may be able to help them in their homicide investigation. However, Calgary police have not shared any details about the status of the suspect or suspects. Ian.
Stephanie, thanks very much. A dump truck ran through a guardrail and rolled down an embankment in southwest Calgary this morning. The truck ended up in some water in a ravine near Old Banff Coach Road. The driver walked away with no significant injuries. It happened just after 8 o'clock. One of Lethbridge's busiest roads was closed today after a truck and its cargo got wedged under a bridge. The truck was carrying a Caterpillar scraper that damaged the Whoop Up Drive Bridge and brought traffic to a standstill this morning. Crews spent hours working to remove the truck and assessing the damage. Some lanes reopened around noon. It comes as road work is being done on top of the bridge, which is already causing delays. A dog has died in a house fire in the southeast community of Legacy. Fire crews responded to a home on Legacy Reach View around 5 a.m. Smoke was pouring out of the house when they arrived. They were able to extinguish the flames quickly, but a dog died in the blaze. The fire is deemed suspicious, and police are investigating. The homeowners tell CTV News they think their dog did something in the basement to start the fire. Calgary's mayor says she wants to have a special meeting with Martaloop businesses on the ongoing construction issues. This comes after the owner of Doodle Dogs told CTV News yesterday that she's seen a huge drop in customers over the past 15 months of construction and blames the city for her business's closure. In one case, crews actually flagged people away from her store. Mayor Jyoti Gondek says construction should be done in 2 months, but she wants to hear from businesses themselves.
I want to have a good conversation with businesses that are expressing difficulty or making decisions to leave. I want to understand what their perspective is, and I think it's really important in my position to reach out to them and say, you're valued in our city, and what's happened, and what would you have liked to have seen done differently. So that's really what I want to achieve.
Gondek says the high amount of rain recently has caused some delays in construction. She has asked administration to see if they can place some interim measures in the area to help local businesses. The mayor and businesses are encouraging people to shop in Martaloop, and they hope Mardi Gras will help. The event returns this Sunday, celebrating 40 years. The free family festival hosted by the Martaloop Business Improvement Area includes music, games, a pet pageant, and food. More than 35,000 people are expected to visit the neighborhood as 33rd Avenue Southwest becomes car-free between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
That storm that blew through the northwest edge of Calgary and into Airdrie last night really hit parts of Cochrane hard before it got here. This video from the Sunset Ridge neighborhood in Cochrane shows what it was like. A river of water and hail flowing through the streets and pooling in low-lying areas. The storm dumped centimeters of hail in the area, and the rainfall overwhelmed storm sewers, especially on lower ground. The little lakes that formed at the confluence of some of the pop-up rivers were the source of fun for some people. No houses or cars were seriously damaged. Make the most of it, I suppose. Gina, no real risk of heavy weather tonight, though.
No, it's not looking like it, Ian. You know, some of the clouds in that Cochrane area actually showing the possibility for maybe some scattered showers. So I won't rule that out for the city either, but a more quiet evening on tap for us. And it'll start to clear overnight, so we'll have a nice sunny morning. Temperature right now, it's fabulous out here. We're sitting at 23 degrees currently, some nice calm southerly winds, and yeah, a very enjoyable evening for the most part. You just might want to keep an eye to the sky just in case a little pop-up thunderstorm wants to produce. But again, looking pretty good right now. A nice start to the morning there too, Ian, but we'll ramp up that thunderstorm risk once again for Thursday evening, and that's going to be the precursor to a more significant wet weather event on Friday.
Thanks, Gina. Calgary will get just a bit more colorful over the next couple of weeks. That's because the Bump Festival is taking place. Close to a dozen artists are working on a massive scale to bring blank walls to life. Kevin Fleming reports.
He's the only Treaty 7 artist to return to the Bump Festival 4 years in a row. And now Nathan McGuinness is working on a mural on Bow Valley College's West Campus building. And the name gave him the idea for the piece.
My dad, when he prays to the west direction, he's praying for the grandfather winds and the mountains, and then he's praying to Grandfather Bear. So for me, that was the connection to why I should add the bear.
He says the mother bear he painted represents the college who's taught her two cubs the ways of the world and is now letting them go to succeed in life.
And that's what this campus is doing. This place is helping them live, not survive, but live, enjoy life, and do something they love and be creative.
The college saw an opportunity to enhance the downtown experience for commuters by adding some color and culture to help revitalize the space that thousands of people pass by every day.
It was important to us that it be an Indigenous installation and from an Indigenous artist, and so we chose somebody from the Tsuut'ina Nation here as part of Treaty 7, and so that was about as much influence as we wanted to put into the process, and then from there we really invited the artists to sort of engage with the space, engage with the canvas.
The Bump Festival is in its 9th year and to date has added 152 public art pieces to the city.
Strangely enough, in Canada, I would say we're one of the leading public art cities now. So we have these profound, heavyweight muralists from around the world coming to give us their masterworks. So we're quickly becoming a public art city. 9 years ago, not so much, but you know, the dream is 10 years from now, we can talk about Calgary like Berlin. Like New York, like an art city.
McGuinness works fast and will be finished his mural in just over 4 days. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And organizers say by mid-August, the festival will have added a total of 162 murals to Calgary's public art scene since it began in 2017. We've posted more information about the festival on our website. That includes images of past and present murals. He's just a little guy, only 18 months old, but he's facing a life and death struggle. Just ahead, could you be the person who can make a life-saving liver donation for Colby? And talking trade, divergent views on how Canada should fight back against Donald Trump. In the U.S., 5 soldiers were wounded when a colleague opened fire at an Army base in Georgia today.
We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team.
The injured soldiers are stable and are expected to recover. Law enforcement was dispatched to a combat team complex at Fort Stewart shortly before 11 a.m. The suspect opened fire where he worked and was quickly tackled by other troops. Officials have not speculated on a motive. The base is home to thousands of soldiers and family members. The Army is investigating. In Japan, the victims of the atomic bomb attack on Hiroshima were remembered today. A memorial ceremony was held today on the 80th anniversary of the attack. The United States dropped a nuclear bomb on this day in 1945. 3 days later, a second bomb was dropped on the nearby city of Nagasaki. A total of more than 200,000 people were killed in the blasts and related radiation sickness. The Prime Minister has returned to Ottawa for a key meeting with his cabinet on the trade war with the U.S. Mark Carney also met remotely with the premiers on the matter, and they differ on how to deal with Donald Trump. Mike LeCouture reports.
Prime Minister Carney, which counter-tariffs? The Prime Minister was tight-lipped a day after saying he'd consider removing some counter-tariffs on American goods if it would help Canadian industries. While saying he supports Mark Carney, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has a different take.
You can't have tariffs on one side and not the other. I still stand by what I say. Dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. They understand strength, not weakness. He was planning to deliver that message this afternoon as the premiers held a virtual meeting with the Prime Minister. Once it ended, Ford's message to Canadians is to buckle up for a rough road ahead.
I'm praying that everything's going to go fine. But if it doesn't, I got to ask the people, do you trust President Trump? I don't.
In recent days, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe has called for Canada to remove or reduce counter tariffs on all American goods. Some feel like the countrywide resolve is being tested.
As this has dragged on with no obvious resolution in sight, some of that determination is flagging a bit.
In an interview with CTV News on Tuesday, the U.S. ambassador to Canada cautioned that trade talks could be slow over the next weeks as U.S. President Donald Trump focuses on a deal with China. And that's why some trade experts believe Canada should refrain from retaliating.
I do think we have to hold something like a retaliation as a threat in case Trump does decide to hit us with something else.
And one example of that unpredictability, President Trump announced an additional 25% tariffs on goods from India because that country is importing Russian oil. India's tariff rate could rise to 50%. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Rain in BC is helping firefighters on the ground, but it's not enough to slow down a big fire burning on Vancouver Island. More than 200 firefighters have boots on the ground, working to get a handle on the 5-square-kilometer Wesley Ridge fire near Nanaimo. The flames threatened several homes, but they were spared.
They were at the back door and front door and sides of several properties. Fighting it in our backyard is it's no short of amazing. And the sense of accomplishment that they've had up till today it's been truly life-changing for our department.
More than 100 fires are burning across BC. Meanwhile, the BC Wildfire Service issued a warning about artificial images shared on Facebook over the last few weeks. The photos depict recent fires in Peachland and Harrison Lake and are not accurate. There are concerns how these misleading pictures could impact people during emergencies.
I predict that, it's only going to become harder from here. That the use of these technologies will become much more pervasive because it's becoming accessible and the models are only getting better. And I think the awareness and the education around these should really be happening right now.
The province recommends people use the BC Wildfire Service app and look to local governments and First Nations for information.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Gina, we're in the middle of a short work week after the holiday, and I'm already excited about your weekend forecast.
Yes, Saturday, Sunday are looking fantastic. Friday, we just got to get through first. If you're looking for some watering of your lawn and don't want to use the sprinkler, just wait till Friday. You'll get a good dose of rain when we get to that day. We're at 23 degrees currently, partly cloudy out there. I was just outside. It's really nice out right now. Some winds out of the southeast at 20 kilometers an hour. Outside of Calgary, it's 26 in Drumheller, 27 in Medicine Hat, and down in Lethbridge, it's 21 degrees. Central Alberta, 26 in the capital. You notice as we get closer to the mountains there, the temperatures are cooling off noticeably, and that's because we've got incoming system that's bringing that rain I keep talking about. So when we look at the 24-hour temperature change, Calgary, unimpacted so far, but you definitely see that cold front starting to swoop in parts of the East Kootenay there and over the mountains into Banff, and that'll continue in that direction up into the central part of the province throughout the next 24 hours here. Here's our radar satellite for right now, though. There is rain to the west of us and some embedded thunderstorm cells, but it just doesn't look like a lot of this is going to materialize over Calgary tonight. Keep your eye to the sky, though, and keep an eye on those clouds out there, but pretty low risk of thunderstorms. Different story in the central part of the province where we have those watches and warnings in place, including a rainfall warning with that incoming low pressure system that's going to bring a lot of precipitation, especially in that region just west of Edmonton. That does include the Yellowhead Highway. They could see 50 to 75 millimeters of rainfall by the end of Friday with this associated system. Rainfall for the next 24 hours, it's quiet. You do start to see that uptick, though, starting right around the noon hour tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing this chart by this time tomorrow and what it will show and reveal when it comes to rainfall and the amounts. I do anticipate probably by Friday morning we'll be up in that widespread category. Like I mentioned, though, very quiet up until then, though. So the regional forecast showing most areas in the south part of the province will get that rain on Friday, and that's going to drive down our temperatures too. Before then, some areas might even see some thunderstorms late Thursday afternoon into the evening. That includes us here in Calgary as well. And we'll show that in your Futurecast coming up in our next weather hit in about 20 minutes from now. But taking a look at your Action Furnace 5-day forecast, 21 degrees for Thursday with a sunny start to the day. The rain on Friday driving down the temperatures to just a high of 17. Then we resume to more seasonal conditions and temperatures by the weekend.
Thank you, Gina. The number of E. coli cases linked to an outbreak at the Saskatoon berry farm near Okotoks has risen again. Alberta Health Services says there are now 68 probable laboratory cases of E. coli. That's up from 49 on Friday. 4 people have been hospitalized, but only 1 patient remains in hospital. A more serious parasitic infection has been detected in 45 people. AHS says people who ate or drank at the farm between July 1st and July 18th may have been exposed. The farm's restaurant and bakery remain closed during the investigation, but other areas remain open. The farm says water it uses for irrigation and rinsing has been deemed safe. A new study suggests kids and young adults who spend too much time staring at screens have a greater chance of developing cardiovascular diseases. Researchers in Denmark tracked the screen and sleep habits of more than 1,000 10 and 18-year-olds. They found those who spent excessive hours in front of electronic devices were at higher risk for health issues such as high blood pressure and high cholesterol, as well as diabetes and insulin resistance. Their analysis found that each additional hour of daily screen time increased the risk of disease. An Airdrie couple is spreading the word about live liver donation as they await a donor to save their toddler's life and help other kids on the wait list for organs. Alicia Fielberg met little Colby and his family today.
Giggles and smiles continue despite all of the equipment hooked up to 18-month-old Colby. He has a rare genetic condition called Alagille syndrome, which impacts his liver, and he's been in the hospital for months.
Yeah, it's very hard.
He can't walk or stand right now and has to take several medications. Colby's doctor says he needs a liver transplant.
Oh, it would be the difference between life and death for him. The priority is to get an organ to make sure that, we can get Colby back on track.
It could come from someone deceased or a living donor who has a surgery to remove a piece of their liver.
The liver is like a worm. You can cut a piece off and it'll just regrow. But unfortunately for Colby, because of his genetic condition, his liver can't regenerate and repair itself.
It is a major surgery, so there are risks associated with it. But overall, the donors do very, very well.
While Colby remains in hospital, his family is trying to make the most of the time they can all spend together and hope they can find a matching donor soon.
It's been a struggle for the family. We have high hopes and, we're believing that things are going to change.
Having a donor transplant for Colby would be life-changing.
And not just for him. Colby's family and doctors say donors could change the lives of about a dozen children in the area that need liver transplants.
That huge impact that organ donation can have for the community and specifically for patients like Colby.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Colby needs a donor with type O blood, plus or minus, who is healthy and between the ages of 18 and 55. Anyone considering registering as a donor can contact Living Donor Services at 780-407-8698. Only a few days ago, Air Canada was flying high with an historic number of passengers. Next, the possibility they could be grounded as flight attendants vote to authorize a strike. And they're called predatory tow truck practices. How the province is taking action to stop it. Air Canada is facing a potential travel disruption right during the busy summer travel season. The airline's flight attendants have voted overwhelmingly to go on strike. As Judy Trin reports, they want to be paid for every minute they're on the job, not just when they're in the air.
Mike Abraham has booked a flight to Slovenia for a bike tour. He's scheduled to take off just as Air Canada's flight attendants are poised to strike.
Even if I was to actually try to rebook it now with either with Air Canada or with a competitor, say a European airline, the price would be at least 3 times as much.
Air Canada's 10-year contract with its 10,000 flight attendants is expiring. The union representing the workers says better wages and working conditions are needed. Flight attendants average 35 hours of unpaid work each month.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion. So any of the pre-flight checks, mandatory safety briefings, all the required stuff that is done on the ground prior to pushback, as well as the deplaning process.
The workers are getting support from the Conservatives, urging the government to amend the labor code to ensure flight attendants are paid for every minute they're required to be at work from check-in to sign-off. Last year, Air Canada generated operating revenues of more than $22 billion. Thousands of passengers could be impacted if a deal is not reached by August 16th.
This will be a test for the Carney government to see whether they have the intestinal fortitude to let labor relations work its way through this process.
Even though Abraham has been planning his trip for months, he doesn't support government intervention, but does support fair wages for workers.
Being paid for your hours on the job, that I think is a no-brainer. I can't possibly understand why a company wouldn't do that.
In a previous statement, Air Canada said it was committed to reaching a fair and equitable contract with its flight attendants. Both sides returned to the bargaining table on Friday. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
And Air Canada says last Friday was its busiest travel day post-pandemic. Nearly 160,000 people flew with the airline that day. Meanwhile, Air Canada is changing how Aeroplan members earn points. The loyalty program will change January 1st. Members will earn points on eligible Air Canada flights based on dollars spent rather than distance traveled. They will earn a minimum of 1 Aeroplan point per dollar. Air Canada will also introduce status qualifying credits, a new path for achieving Aeroplan Elite status. The province is cracking down on predatory tow truck drivers. New rules across Alberta will establish a 200-meter buffer zone around collisions. Tow truck drivers will only be able to enter when requested by drivers or by police. The measures follow similar rules established in Edmonton and Calgary earlier this year. It comes after some drivers essentially had their vehicles held hostage by unauthorized tow truck companies.
The last year and a half, what it is that we're hearing is increased incidents of predatory towing. And certainly what it is that we're beginning to hear now are almost daily reports within our towing network of individuals that find themselves broken down on the side of the road or involved in a collision.
Any tow truck drivers breaking the rules could face a $1,000 fine. The measures go into effect on Friday. A new discovery about something very, very old. Still to come, a well-known paleontologist finds new fossils in the Burgess Shale. A world-renowned paleontologist was on hand at Telespark's Inspiration Stage, sharing more about one of the planet's most significant fossil sites. Dr. Jean-Bernard Caron from the Royal Ontario Museum holding a presentation on the Burgess Shale this afternoon. Located in the Rockies, the shale dates back over 500 million years. It is a World Heritage Site. The museum has been studying the area for 50 years and recently made a new discovery in Yoho National Park.
I came just back to Calgary today from after spending about 19 days in the field, and this new site is extraordinary with lots of new species. So I'm very excited about this year.
Caron says this shale can help unearth some of the first species that called our planet home. Very significant discovery indeed. Well, it may be the most unusual video you'll ever see of an NHL team mascot. The Seattle Kraken's mascot had a close encounter with a bear.
While we were fishing, we had a pretty close call with a couple bears. We got a bear.
Kraken forward John Hayden was fly fishing on a promotional shoot in Alaska when the bear gave chase. Hayden, the fishing guide, and Bowie, the Kraken mascot, had to make a run for it in knee-deep water. Once the bear realized the humans weren't salmon, he seemed to back off. The video was posted on the Kraken social media pages.
You know what struck me? No one seemed to be panicked at all. Because this bear's charging you, and they're like, oh, you know.
They remain, yeah, relatively calm. And I got to say that the mascot with the Kraken, not quite as attractive as Harvey the Hound.
True.
Agreed.
I'm still very fond of Harvey. Well, speaking of encounters with wildlife, want to see someone do something foolish? Okay.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Brittany Matthew posted this video to her TikTok account. She came across a man taunting a bison in Yellowstone National Park. The man managed to survive the encounter, although the U.S. National Park Service says bison are agile, aggressive, and can run up to 50 kilometers an hour.
That is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of that. People doing just the wrong thing with wildlife. It happens in our national parks as well. Well, also trending tonight, a 12-year-old boy's very special day with an NFL team. Jace Garland took the handoff from Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young and scored a touchdown in an intra-squad game this weekend. Jace has been diagnosed with a form of bone cancer, and the team took the boy in, giving him a tour of the locker room and even signing him to a one-day contract. As you can see, the players took the experience to heart and celebrated his special moment.
You know,
probably just as special for them, too.
You just love to see it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Pro athletes have such power to do, you know, have such a capacity to do wonderful things for people. It's great when they make the effort. Well, it should have been a simple transaction. Pajamas for $40, still ahead. How an e-transfer fraud turned it into a $2,700 loss.
Welcome back. Definitely seen that overcast sky throughout Calgary, and in some areas of that northwest region, some incoming clouds that look like they might carry a little bit of rain, but not seeing anything too severe on the horizon for us tonight. But temperature-wise, it's pretty nice out there right now. We managed to get to a high of 24 today, sitting at 23 currently, and some nice southeasterly winds out there, keeping us pretty nice. And it's a little humid outside too, but a comfortable evening for the most part. This is what we are seeing on the radar satellite right now. So definitely some brewing instability to the west of us, tracking towards Rocky Mountain House and the Caroline area. But that light blue that you're seeing on the screen here, it just means that there's precipitation in the clouds, but nothing's really falling currently. We do have a rainfall warning in effect. You see that in green there, 50 to 75 millimeters possible for that region of Alberta as we get into Friday. Here's a look at that system developing. So picking it up here tomorrow morning, it starts to really influence and impact that warning area, and then it sweeps down into Calgary as we get into late Thursday evening. So could see some thunderstorms tomorrow night, and the real main wet weather event starts to take hold Friday morning and throughout the afternoon. Just wave after wave of rain. When we take a look at your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. Should calm down this evening. Some nice clear conditions that'll set us up for some sunshine in the morning. But like I mentioned, chance for some evening thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 21.
Thanks, Gina. For the first time, we are hearing from the family of a teenage boy who police believe is a homicide victim. The family of Carter Spivak Villeneuve describes the 16-year-old as caring, giving, and loyal. In a statement, they say they are devastated by the loss. Police want to hear from anyone who may have details about the teen's death in Abbeydale last week. Mayor Jyoti Gondek is calling for a meeting with business owners in Martaloop and city administrators. It comes a day after we brought you the story of a Martaloop business owner saying they were forced to close because of ongoing construction that kept customers away. Cochrane was hit hard by a hailstorm that rolled in yesterday. Streets turned into rivers and hail pummeled homes and vehicles. The rainfall overwhelmed storm sewers. E-transfers are one of the most popular ways to send and receive money in Canada, with more than 1 billion transactions happening each year. It's generally a safe way to move money around, but e-transfer fraud is on the rise as hackers find new ways to get into your bank account. Pat Foran reports.
I was shocked. I thought this could never happen to me.
Lola Bielavuk of Toronto was using Poshmark, a website that brings together buyers and sellers, allowing users to purchase new and secondhand items. Bielavuk posted pajamas for $40, and someone offered to buy them.
I saw a link there that was for $40, which is what I was selling it for, an e-transfer. Perfect.
Bielavuk says she was sent what looked like a regular e-transfer link, so she decided to deposit the money.
I clicked Tangerine. I put in my client number and password. So I entered in the security code thinking everything is fine.
But after she did that, the website froze. Someone she didn't know added their name to her e-transfer contact list, and she was scammed out of $2,740. This happened in January. She's been trying for 6 months to get her money back without success.
And I was told that my claim was denied, that I was the one that was negligent.
Tangerine Bank told CTV News Tangerine will never ask you to download software or remote access apps, and you should never share your login information or one-time passcodes with anyone.
Think before you click. Just don't go ahead and click on links that have been sent to you.
Cybersecurity expert Ritesh Kotek says AI is making it easier for criminals to create real-looking e-transfers and banking websites. He says scammers send fake links hoping you'll click on them.
You think you're logging into a financial institution such as your bank, but in actuality you're logging in and giving your information to these fraudsters and hackers.
Kotak advises using auto deposits, strong passwords, and making sure you're on trusted websites. After CTV News reached out to Tangerine Bank, they reviewed Bielavuk's case again and told her, our recovery efforts with the other financial institution were ultimately successful and your funds have been fully recovered. Bielavuk has now been given a full refund, which was great news for her. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Claire's, the accessory and cosmetics retailer, has filed for bankruptcy protection in the U.S. and says it will do so soon in Canada, too. Claire's stores in North America will stay open during this process, as the company says it will look for strategic alternatives. Claire's was founded in 1974 and has more than 2,700 stores across North America and Europe, including 4 in Calgary. The ongoing trade war has soured Canadians' appetite for travel to the States. New data shows vehicles crossing from BC into Washington State fell nearly 30% last month. The Border Policy Research Institute in Bellingham found the decline began in February at the Pacific Highway and Blaine border crossings. Over the last several months, figures show numbers growing by 50% in April, but then falling again to 29% in July. The recent drop was only experienced post 9/11 and during the early days of the pandemic.
We have multiple aspects to this. There's some baseline situations like a weak Canadian dollar that in our region always does impact cross-border travel. But certainly, I think the overriding factor is the Canadian pushback to crossing the border for reasons around safety concerns, around perceptions of what's happening at the border, and then, of course, just boycotting the U.S. overall.
And the latest research from the World Travel and Tourism Council projects the U.S. is on track to lose $12.5 billion in international tourism spending this year. A Canmore man who survived an avalanche last March while skiing in the Rockies is cycling nearly 4,000 kilometers from the mountain town to Montreal. We caught up with Giordano Pillarella in Regina. He's raising money for Mountain Muskox, a peer support group in the Bow Valley for those who've experienced trauma or loss in the mountains. Pillarella's physical injuries have mostly healed, but he says his mental health took a serious hit.
I felt like there was kind of like a ghost of me, like an old part of my past that I wasn't able to relive. Like I'd go to the same places that I used to ski, but I didn't have that ambition to want to like chase those goals. I think the biggest thing that's helped me is like accepting that I'm moving on in a positive way. Like, you know, like maybe I'm not able to do those things I used to do, but that's okay.
Pillarella started his trek August 1st and hopes to make it to Montreal by the 20th. He has a GoFundMe campaign set up. You can search for Pedaling for Healing, 4,000 kilometers for mountain mental health. WordFest is bringing a Canadian literary giant to Calgary. Margaret Atwood will take the stage at the Jack Singer Concert Hall on December 10th to celebrate her new memoir, Book of Lives, a memoir of sorts. Tickets go on sale August 12th at the Workland Centre box office. Exclusive pre-sale access is available now through WordFest. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays wrapped up a series today against the worst team in Major League Baseball. Just ahead, hit after hit after hit against the lowly Colorado Rockies.
She gets it. 168-kilometer-an-hour ace.
Ontario's Victoria Mboko is looking to extend her remarkable wildcard run at the National Bank Open tonight. The 18-year-old is playing 9th-seeded Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan in their semifinal match tonight in Montreal. Mboko has defeated 5 higher-ranked opponents en route to the semifinals, including the top seed Coco Gauff in the 4th round. The two athletes are now in the 3rd set in the tiebreaker. Very exciting. The Toronto Blue Jays were looking to bring out the brooms this afternoon. Glenn is back with us, and Glenn, the Jays have put up a lot of runs in this series.
Ian, get this, they scored 25 runs in the first 2 games of the series against Colorado Rockies, and looking to put up more in the series finale in Denver this afternoon. We're going to pick it up bottom of the 5th. The Jays up 3-1, and they keep adding to those runs. 2 on for Nathan Lucas. He drills it deep to left center, goes off the wall. Both runs would come in to score. Jays open up a 5-1 lead. Lucas, he had himself a triple. Jays have used the long ball in this series. Top of the 6th, Davis Schneider at the plate, and he'll give this one a ride to left. That is a no-doubter solo shot for Schneider. 7-1 for the Jays, and the Jays would continue the blowout in that inning. Addison Barger drives in 2 more runs. The Jays double digits again with a 10-1 lead, and they would go on to hammer the Rockies 20-1. They sweep the series. The Jays scored 45 runs in 3 games. They open up a series against the Dodgers in Los Angeles starting on Friday night. Well, next week, the best from the Champions Tour converge on the Canyon Meadows Golf and Country Club for the Rogers Charity Classic. Last night, the annual shootout at the Meadows, which featured some of Calgary's finest athletes and members of the media going head-to-head. First round, I went up against Stamps quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. Let's just say he's a little better on the football field, shall we? I made it to the 3rd round before bowing out to Olympic gold medalist Karen Lee Gartner. She's an excellent golfer. She's competing in the Senior Ladies Championship at Valley Ridge this week. Now, the eventual winner of the 2025 shootout at the Meadows, Rob Hainan, he beat out bobslayer Chris Homestead in the final. For the win, Hainan gets a spot in next week's Pro-Am, a fun night had by all. Well, tonight on Golf Tips, what if you hit your shot into the water on a par 3? What's the rule? Scott fills us in.
Mackenzie Meadows Golf Tips with PGA Pro Scott Orban.
Oh, well, Scott, another ball in the water, man. Well, let's go down to the green and just drop, eh? That'll be my 3rd shot down there.
No, we don't go down to the green.
What?
Like you went straight in the water here, so it's red stakes.
Yeah.
It is a lateral, but your choices are this. You can re-hit from this zone.
Okay.
And you went straight over there, so if you took a drop, you'd be dropping over by those bushes.
Oh, okay.
So that'd be a terrible drop, because that's the next place is where it entered.
Yeah.
Or from the flag through where it entered all the way back into these trees over here.
Okay.
So you get to re-tee.
Great.
You don't. So if you now, Glenn, if you hit it,
yeah,
and you would have hit that bank way up there past the red stakes and rolled back down in, then you could drop up there by the green.
Okay. Well, let's.
So a common mistake golfers make.
Let's see what I can
try
do
to
here.
Take advantage of things a little bit, but that's just cheating. Well, and that's what we call a beautiful golf shot.
There we go.
Zoom in on that flag.
Come on.
A little long,
but
a great shot.
Well, thanks, man. Now I know what to do. But now I'm going for my bogey, right?
Putted in for bogey. Not that good.
Next week on Golf Tips, I make the wrong move and incur a 1-stroke penalty. And Ian, good little update on the tennis court, right?
Yeah, Victoria Mboko wins with the tiebreaker in the 3rd set, so she's on to the final in Montreal.
A run.
Awesome. Incredibly exciting. Yeah. And by the way, Glenn, you don't need any golf tips because you defeated the Stampeders quarterback.
Ah, there you go, right?
Yeah. And Gina, some good golf weather by the weekend.
Good golf weather, good football weather. We just got to get through Friday first. And we talked a lot about that Cochrane storm yesterday. They actually got 2 storms, and Lori capturing the second one that rolled through on your weather window here, brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. So like I mentioned, couple more days of unsettled weather, and we'll really drive down our temperature on Friday, but Saturday's looking absolutely gorgeous. That sunshine back up in the sky, 22 degrees for your high, picking it up to 24 on Sunday.
Looking good. Thanks very much, Gina. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.